And we are live. What's up, beasties? It's me, it's Triple B, your friendly neighborhood bearded book beast. And we're here for technically another episode of Beast Friends Forever. But I brought some friends along with me. Some very dear friends, members of the Red Company. How you guys doing?
Doing swell.
Doing great, man.
Good,
How are you?
I'm doing good. It's awesome to be here with you guys.
Always.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Alex, you look ominous right now, my friend. I love it.
Good.
There's a theme.
Because I'm not going to be talking nice things today.
Yeah, I knew it. I saw it. I knew it was coming.
Oh, man. It will be interesting to see what we all thought. So let me shout out a couple of people that are already in here hanging out with us, and some more will be trickling in, I'm sure. We've got Josh from Already Overbooked. What's up? Thanks for being here, man. And then we've got Keys. What's up, Keys? Thanks for being here. And John A. Douglas. Away we go. Yes.
Whoa, who's this guy?
We go.
Theo, what's up?
Whoa,
Man?
Theo, you're alive, bro.
Let's go.
Nice. Man,
I saw the video pop up today.
I know it was awesome to see him have another video out.
Yeah,
Let's see. Oh, and another good friend, Contemplative Reader. What's up, man? All right, so let me see. Oh shoot! All right, you guys hang tight for a second. I got to grab my book. It's over here.
You got it. And I'll show the book that we're talking about real quick. Eluthienn, that beautiful cover by, I think it's Charles Udding. I reached out to him. It also says his name on the back of the book.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. He's got some great artwork.
It's a great cover.
Yeah, great cover.
Oh, yeah.
Great cover.
Yeah.
I guess we'll wait till Chris gets back to start
Okay,
the
because Chris
conversation.
is left, I'm owning the stream now. So,
All right, Alex.
thanks, Chris.
We're taking over the channel. None of us.
Yeah, purple.
I own the channel now.
All right, I got it. Boom. There we go.
Nice.
All right.
He's come to take it back.
That's right. I'm back.
You don't have the requisite beard, Alex. Sorry. Chance could do it.
That's true. We got to get you one, man.
I gotta wait another
Amazon.
half a year before I can get the
No,
first
Amazon. 2 days.
Yeah. Just get you one with like the ear straps.
Yeah.
No,
Sweet.
I gotta have the real pristine thing.
Oh yes. You would look sweet with a beard. I agree. All right, we got some more people popping in. Let's see. Ooh, speaking of popping, we got Mr. Papalopoulos.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, that's right,
What's
Mr.
going on?
Papadopoulos. I like it. Let's see.
Chat time with
Re-nerdified. Nice.
I like that. We got
That is good.
re-nerdified, nerd level rising. Does the nerd level rise and then get re-nerdified?
Yeah, I think so. Re-nerdified. I like that. Don't know what this book is, but I like these peeps. That's right. So we're glad you're here, my friend. All right, so I guess I could read the back of this, because before we did a book that kind of everybody already knew about, but this time people might not know. So before we all start talking about what we thought, because I know some of us weren't very high. So let me talk about
some of us.
What
some
it's
of
about.
us four.
It says, "Welcome to the Abyss for Maria." This is kind of a long blurb.
It's a long blurb.
I'll get through some of it just so people get the idea.
Yeah.
So a labyrinthine network of underground tunnels is home to the. How did you guys say this? Former
area.
Fromrear, I think.
Well, like
I tried to say.
Yeah, the people from Rare.
Oh, from
Oh, yeah, the Fromrear.
Yeah. An alliance of humans, dwarves, elves, and gnomes. They fight an endless war with ancient technologies they don't truly understand, but deploy with devastating effect. So we basically have the next two things talking about the two main POVs. We have Calbraeth Lyander, an exorcist, and we also have Brazier Veroinquist, who is a dwarf and an officer of the Ice Miner ship, which, side note, I did think it was kind of cool how you had these ships underground going through mines and tunnels, but you sometimes forgot it wasn't just in space, like the way described
I
it.
thought they were flying.
Yeah, my whole time I thought.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I think they were kind of right, but just
I think
through
it's
like
sometimes
underground world.
Yeah, they're flying through the tunnels, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of how I took it.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
thought they were flying in the sky because I don't know
I
why.
do think I think eventually they go above ground, right? I don't know. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
All right. So, and then the last paragraph
know.
says, "War is coming, and with an enemy outmatching even the mighty from Rare. Uncertain of who to trust and embroiled in political intrigue, Lyander and Brazier must do everything they can to prevent the fall of Formeria. The odds are against them, but in the abyss, one ship can change the fate of millions." All right. So
It's a great blurb, by the way.
It is,
It is a
good
really
blurb.
good
It's a really good pitch.
it
Yeah.
got me
That is
pumped to read it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, between the cover, the blurb,
Mhm.
I don't know. I mean, it's just like it was really calling. I think I was the one that suggested this puppy, I think, when we first
I think
decided
so.
to do red
I don't
cover,
remember.
correct?
Yeah, I had it on. Like I was eyeballing it anyway.
Oh, right.
Also,
Yeah.
even before then.
Yeah.
So yeah.
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 It was one of you guys. I remember I didn't even know the name until you guys mentioned it.
All
Yeah.
right. What about the initial like first quarter of the book? I guess are we going to dive right into spoilers, or you want to talk a little spoiler free for a little
I
bit?
guess we can talk in generals first, and then
Okay,
if
let's do
anybody
that.
doesn't want to know spoilers, they can mute
Like it.
the
All right.
video. But all right, so
I'm
I guess
hang out.
just general feelings on the book. So first up, let's do this. Let's do, when I count to 3, let's all do either a thumbs up like this or a thumbs down.
Okay.
You ready?
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Here we go.
Well, this is going to be interesting.
Jake's got
Ready?
2 thumbs.
All right.
I'm so interested in
1,
this.
2, 3.
Neutral to positive for me.
There we go. That's good.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah, I'm
Alex
kind of in
was gonna do
between.
I,
Like at 45.
I really
I
that.
went
I like
neutral.
that 45-degree angle.
I went neutral. I thought out by Alex's description he was going to go.
no.
I did too.
The thing is, I really did enjoy the first half.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's a lot. There's a lot in this book to like if you love
There
world
is.
building.
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
I think it was really cool because it's sci-fi fantasy with the classics from fantasy brought into a sci-fi world.
Yeah.
I thought the world building stuff of the Gyre Ice and the character being named Lyander, I thought was really cool. And I really enjoyed the beginning of. I feel like we were kind of sold, the hunt a little bit more.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
In terms of if you're looking for a bit of a mystery coming into the book and kind of that slow unveiling as the story goes on. But I don't know, what did you guys say? So we got neutral to positive, Jake. I'm actually curious.
Yeah, I think the world building was my favorite part. I thought it was super impressive world building. I was talking to Sam a little bit on Instagram, and awesome dude, by the way.
Yeah,
and he was saying like part of his goal was that he loves the world building in these huge epic fantasies, but wanted to try to make like a very streamlined story with the same amount of world building, which is ambitious. And I think he did a great job overall. There was definitely some times where I was just like, I don't know. I wish some of the words were a little bit more different from like Formeria and Fromrear. I was like, these are so close. So I kept getting those things confused. But for the most part, I thought the world building was awesome. Like you said, Chance, the mystery stuff that we're seeing at the beginning, I thought was great. There was some really good hooks in there in the beginning, and the very, very subjective personal preference thing for me. I'm just not a huge fan of like gnomes and like the only dwarfs I like are like Tolkien dwarfs. And I don't know why. Call me racist, but I want them.
Dwarfist man.
Yeah,
Dare you?
I don't know. So it was giving me like kind of Witcher vibes to a degree that I wasn't crazy about those books. So there was some stuff that was purely subjective preference stuff for me that I wasn't crazy about, but I thought that the setup and the world were great. The characters were interesting, super interesting premise. And then as I reflected, I think it was maybe a pacing thing that was kind of can encapsulate my why the ending didn't work perfectly for me. But those are sort of my general thoughts, I think.
Nice. All right, Alex, what about you?
Okay, so yeah, I'm pretty much with Jake in the, except it's not just dwarves. I don't like, if you're gonna have dwarves, if you're gonna have all these different things, these classic fantasy things, sure, you can do them, but I want like something special about them. I want something a little different rather than, okay, I just took it, where it feels like I just took Tolkien or I just took D&D and just said, bah, okay, here we go. That's what we're doing.
Oh, see, that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. I felt like Brazier, I felt like was just a human who we just happened to say he was a dwarf.
Yeah.
There wasn't really anything characteristic about it that was differently, but that was, I don't know. That's just me. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Continue.
No, kind of like that.
But that's just, I wanted it all to be a little bit more unique in that sense, but that's the only world building critique that I had, because I loved the structure of the plot in that it's like this guy telling the story of how he was told the story from someone else, and he's telling his superior in the church, and he's talking about the whole thing so that they can track down the guy. And I thought, I loved the way that was structured, and I quite liked the characters and where they went for a good section. And then I think it was the payoff that didn't work out for me.
Yeah,
that's fair. I would agree with that. All right, so before I give my thoughts, let's shout out a couple more people that just popped in. We've got Tim McKay. What's up, Tim? Thanks for being here.
On?
And Preacher Reads is here.
There he is.
What's up? And Darko of Kindles and Kicks. What's up, dude?
Wow.
Thanks for being here.
All
right, so I agree with everything you guys said, and I guess I could almost be like Jake and maybe do that in between, because of what Alex said. Like I loved it all. I loved the world building. I loved the characters. I thought he did right, like the relationships between the characters well, like how they interacted. I thought he did all that good. Pacing was a little off at times, but sometimes you see that with like a debut book, so it didn't get to me too much. But I would say the payoff, and I don't know. I never judge payoff too much, I guess, because if an author ends a book away I don't really like, that's still the ending. So I try to just, accept whatever it is. But when we get into spoilers, like there was just something about the ending that I just didn't really like. And you can probably know what that is, because a certain character was my favorite and I was disappointed in the ending.
Oh, that.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll get to it though. But overall, I did enjoy it. I thought the mix of like some class, but with what you said, Jake, I agree, because like Brazier, like halfway through, well, not halfway through, because by then I probably knew, but in the early chunk, I know early on it said he was a dwarf, but then like later on, I'm like, is he a dwarf or is he human? Like I couldn't remember.
I totally forgot. It was
halfway
through the book. I was just like, oh, he's a dwarf.
Until somebody like mentioned it when they finally all come together and they talk about him. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So it would have been cooler if somehow it was very clear. Other than just his world building. Obviously they were in the mines when these mining ships, but early on you didn't really know that. So, but yeah, I was high on it. I didn't like the ending, and so a lot of the same stuff you guys said.
Yeah, I don't think, just to be super fair, I don't think it was a bad ending. Like I don't want people to think we're like super negative.
Yeah.
It just wasn't like, it didn't blow me. It sounds like it didn't blow any of us away with the ending itself. But like, I would absolutely, like, I'll definitely read whatever he writes next. Right?
Oh,
like,
me too.
It was really fun.
He said he's working on more sequel to this. So
nice.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool
where he went with it.
Yeah, I like the concept of dual POV. I thought the writing itself was pretty polished and clean and good. I think the only like word that kept coming up that I was just like a little confused by was Lent, which might just be like a English, like a difference in, is he British? Like what is, I don't actually know. Is he like
I think
English,
he might
English?
be.
Okay, so that might be where
I think he is spelling defense with C.
He does say, "Call me mate." a lot. When we talk.
Yeah. Okay.
So I feel like he
maybe
probably
that's where I was just like a little thrown off. Like
So there
like
might be
melt,
some of the language
melt.
might be because of that.
Yeah, it's like very small thing. But yeah, I
Right.
think I like overall. I like the writing. I like the immersion. I felt like was there.
Mhm.
Like you guys said, there's things that kind of took me out of it here and there, like the dwarf thing for sure. Like I was like, oh, like he is a dwarf. Like that definitely came up.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it has a lot to offer for it. I definitely would say there is something in this book for people to enjoy if they like sci-fi fantasy. You know,
It was a great blend. It was a really like.
It
There's
was.
so much.
Yeah.
He could write so many stories in this world. Like there's
yeah.
so much in there. I can't say that enough. Like how impressed I am that how
Yeah.
much he packed into this that didn't feel like it was a little disorienting at first, but that's every every big fantasy is disorienting at first until you get accustomed. But I was like, wow, like this is a lot, like in a good way, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think I was impressed. I think he's going to do a lot of good things, I think.
Oh yeah.
This was a really solid debut, I think.
Yeah. I think the only other negative, and I don't think this is his fault whatsoever, but like, I don't know if anyone else was thrown off by the formatting in the book.
Yes, I was.
The way the words were just kind of weird on the page.
Yeah.
That kept throwing me off. That's not his fault at all. It's just,
right.
You know.
No.
Yeah, actually.
Like especially it's a hashtag for page breaks. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it's not like either. It's like on the
that was
side.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually read it on Kindle Unlimited too because I
I was gonna say I read it on there a lot too.
Yeah, but I made sure I think I like doing that because it's like double outcome for for Sam.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Good support.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet. Does anybody else have any other spoiler-free thoughts?
Oh, I feel like I want to put this out there. I think like for the dwarves thing, I feel like he could have fixed it by giving them like a dialect or something a little bit extra to push it over the line beyond you just need to be your dwarves because I say so.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's true. They didn't there wasn't any different dialect or anything. That's true.
Yeah, it's like give me the Scottish accent. I want Gimli. I want Bruno from the Drizzt books. Like that's the dwarf I want.
Right?
Yeah.
That's just
Come
me.
on. Gimli's the best.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bruno Battlehammer is pretty great, man. I don't know.
I haven't read Drizzt.
He's good. He's good. You'd like him.
We'll read it.
All right.
Eventually.
Nice. A couple more people
Gnorn
that
from the
came
Edam
in.
books. We gotta say that too. I found out it's Gnorn, by the way, not Norn. You do pronounce the G.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
To remember that.
For what?
In the Edam books, there's a character named Gnorn.
Okay, I'm just gonna take your word for it. I'm reading that.
You'll find it. You're
gonna read it. You're gonna know how to say it. All thanks to Jake.
Look, as soon as this stream is done, I'm gonna go read Way of Adan again. I just want to be clear. I was reading it right before, and I'm gonna read it again.
It's so good.
Good man.
It is.
All right, Cinna is here. Thanks for being here, Cinna. And John Stevenson is here. Thanks for being here, my friend. All right, so I guess we could talk a little bit of spoilers now. So if anyone plans to read this ASAP, just go ahead and mute. Or if you're watching the replay, maybe come back later on and watch the rest. But let's talk about, before we do that though, hold on. This is Beast Friends Forever. So that means I do have to have you guys all do two things at some point. First is answer my question of the day. And then later on, I'm going to have you guys, Chance did one of these, do one of my 1 minute mysteries and see if you can solve it. So be ready.
Are you going to go 3 and then make every person do a single one?
Oh, geez.
I don't know. I'll probably just have you guys work together.
Last one, I needed it.
All right. So question of the day, since tomorrow is Valentine's Day, the question of the day said, how do you feel about romance in your fantasy books? So here's your options. 1, I love it. I want it to be the main thing. 2, I like it as long as it's not the main plot or main thing. 3, I don't like it at all. I hate it. I don't want it in my books at all. Or other. Let me know if it's something else. All right. What do we got?
Okay.
Oh, Alex is ready. He's ready. I can tell.
I was ready, yeah.
All right. What do you got? Go ahead.
Okay. So normally I don't want it as the main thing. I just want it secondary, or at least like it just cannot be the main plot. Otherwise I will lose my mind. But also it has to be well written. And if it is not, if it's like, how do I put it? The one where it's like so boring and bland, and it's like, yep, that's it. They're together now. There was never any like building of the relationship between those two characters. Then I'm not interested. And sometimes I just don't want it at all. But you're never gonna find that.
Right. All right, Jake, what do you think?
Oh, this is so hard, man. I'm somewhere between the two positive ones. Because I think the only book I've read where it's like probably the main thing would be Yumi and the Nightmare Painter.
Ooh.
And like I adore that book. And so it's hard for me to, but like that's only one book, right? So given those choices, I'll probably go with the moderate one. But if you give me a good romance as like a main plot line, as long as there's some other cool fantasy stuff in there to keep me around, like that sounds fun.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's the main plot in Yumi though.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. That's fair.
Oh, you're saying in Yumi? I haven't read Yumi.
I haven't read Yumi either.
It's so good.
Yeah, I think as it is a part of life, I think that it will come up in narratives, and I think that it can be played with in a fun way. It being the primary thing is never. It feels there's like again. I think going back to Alex, you saying it needs to be done well. It's like, yeah, definitely. I think if it's done well and it's the main thing, I can do it. I would enjoy. I would actually enjoy the story. I think when it comes to generally speaking, I like when it's there. It's apparent. It is a thing, but it's not the main driver of the narrative. If that makes sense. Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah,
nicely answered, guys. I would agree. I say if it's like organic, like it feels real, like it develops and it's earned and it's done well, I think it's awesome. So yeah, I agree. I think we're all on the same page there.
Sick.
We got some awesome people that are popping in here now too. We've got Ted here from Ted Redstead. What's up, Ted? We got Ryan Skeffington, Skeff Dog. That's right. It is a whole lot of awesome for one screen. I agree. And then this guy. Who let this guy in? John. That's right. The father of the talking story tree that we all come from.
That's true.
One of the J's and J.A.J. Middleton.
Here, dude.
There you go.
Oh,
the authors of Discovery.
Yes,
Jake,
you can.
I was gonna say you definitely can.
You can.
It's like
you might miss a couple. There's gonna be a couple things that you don't get the full effect of, but you'll be fine. You won't spoil anything.
Oh yeah. Oh, true. Yumi's so good. It's my mom's favorite book of all time.
It's great, dude. I loved it.
Great.
Oh, I got to read that one eventually. All right. So, Discovery. Just Jake, you already read it all, right?
I did.
And Alex, you did too?
Yeah, I finished it the other day.
Yeah.
Wow. Damn.
I know. Chance, you and me are read.
We're right about halfway.
We're about the same spot. So
yeah,
it's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, my reading has just been generally slow. But
Me too.
Yeah.
That's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah.
It's life.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get into some spoilers then. Let's talk about plot stuff. So what did we like? What did we not like? Whoever wants to go first, go ahead.
Should we just jump to the ending? Should
pretty much right there, because I think
the main thing that I think was a point.
We'll go in reverse chronological order. We'll go end, and then we'll go beginning, and then we can go in the middle.
There we go.
See this like one of those old movies. You're probably wondering how I ended up here.
Yeah.
All right,
Oh,
so
man.
kick us off. Give me
All right.
give me what exactly you did not enjoy about the ending.
All right, and I read through the ending a couple times to make sure I didn't miss anything. So unless I missed something huge, I didn't like that Lyander died.
Yeah,
He died, right?
yes.
Yeah, he died.
Okay. I didn't like that.
I'm pretty sure he's dead. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was it. It felt it was this is where my gripe with it. Like, I don't mind that he died. I think that I don't know if it came up enough after the fact.
Yes,
for
that's
it
why I
to sink
reread it.
in.
I'm like, did I miss that he actually was okay?
Yeah,
That's why it felt like pretty epic leading up to that moment, and then it was like that, and then it's like, shoot,
So
what
this
about
just super. Well, I don't know if this will be. I'll be as quick as I can. I
You
think
don't need to be quick. We're only 25 minutes in.
That's true. What made that feel weird for me also, and I think Alex is probably getting at this too when he talked about how the promise didn't, or how the payoff didn't feel super fulfilling, was that through the beginning, like in the middle of the story, like we meet the character Eluthienn, we figure out what he's doing, and Lyander is put in such an interesting position with like the government church people, and they're like, we want you to betray this dude and we'll reinstate your position. I can't remember what his position was called, but super high ranking position.
Sword, I think. First champion.
Yeah, something like that. And so he's torn. He doesn't know what to do, right? And they're going after the vampire king or whatever.
Yeah.
And
vampire,
like,
daddy vampire.
Yeah, daddy vampire. And I'm like, okay, I'm so interested in what he does. What choice is he going to make? How is this going to shake out?
Yes.
Is Eluthienn going to kill the vampire and go conquer the other country? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And we arrive, and from a completely different person's point of view, just watching the battle, Lyander dies, and then Eluthienn dies.
Yes.
And I'm like, what? Like what was the whole point of the story? So that's kind of, so to me, like, it felt kind of rushed, and I wish that there was more time to explore those really interesting setups. And it just, I was just like, oh,
I know,
right? You know?
Yeah,
I know. I wanted to see like Eluthienn kill the vampire and then have Lyander be behind him and have the opportunity to kill him, like that. They asked him
to see what would happen. But at the same time, like, I can see. I wonder if he knows we're all expecting that, so he's trying to subvert the expectation and just pull the rug out from under you. Respect, but like, and maybe that's going to work great for some people, and other people it's not going to work great for. And maybe we're just the latter. But that was my biggest thing.
Yeah, I think it might be setting up for. Wait, what were you going to say, Alex?
Eluthienn's dead?
Yeah, he got bit by the vampire. And I was like, oh, is he going to turn into a vampire? And then they killed him. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that could have been interesting, but we also ended that.
Right.
Well, I don't know. Maybe he's setting it. If he is writing a sequel, all right, this is just my brain working here.
I was thinking the same thing,
too. If this is like if you consider this to be like a prequel to a big series, this is actually a very, very good story, where the main series has two bad guys who are vampires who are named Lyander and Eluthienn, who take over the world.
Lyander didn't get bit though, did he?
No, but
did he get slashed, or he only got stabbed? Didn't he get slashed a couple times?
Stabbed and slashed, but still, you could narratively. I mean, he'd have to have set it up pretty good earlier on, or so you don't have a somehow Palpatine survive situation. Which he may have with that we missed. I think when the little girl comes back early on, right? Do we know, was she bit before she died? Was she bit after she died?
We don't know much about. Yeah, that's true.
And I guess who knows? Anything can go. But I mean, if you're setting this up like if this is a prequel going into a main series, this is actually it would change how I view. The story. It would change how I view the entire story.
Well, yeah, and if Lyander somehow maybe the church like resurrects him or something to be some kind of BA hunter or something. I don't know. If he somehow is alive in the sequel, then it's like, okay, that explains why it left it so like untalked
ambiguous.
About. Like they just kind of all leave, all the dwarves, and they're like, "Whew, good. I'm glad we survived." Like,
didn't
they're not left? Like, "Oh, poor Lyander."
Who was what was the dude? like witch hunter guy.
Gabriel.
Yeah, they just kind of left him to get killed, right?
It didn't.
Yeah, because he slit Eluthien's
Yeah.
throat. They were like, "All right, bud, I guess we're just gonna leave you."
We're not gonna
They
help
literally
you
said, "I'm out." Who is that?
Yeah.
Is that Brazier? He goes,
Yeah.
He goes, "I'm out." And then I think the book ends 2 pages later, which was. I mean, again, I think usually I think the back and forth perspective might have, and I'd actually be curious to ask Sam this. It might have tied. It might have. You might feel constrained because you've been put into this. Written yourself into this situation, and so it feels like a falling action. I think a falling action chapter would have benefited the story a lot,
right?
Instead of just a falling 2 pages. I don't know. I mean, maybe that's just like the
falling 2 pages.
I don't know. It was just like this really quick pickup of action. Unless again, I might be missing something entirely, which is totally possible. That said, I think the good outweighs the bad of the story overall.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It was a fun read. I'm glad we read it, and I'm interested to see what the sequel is going to be since he's working on one. And I think,
I agree.
Let me look at the message he sent me. I swear he said he's working on more than one sequel, so I do think he's working on it.
I think if at least Eluthienn survives and he's now a vampire, that makes it feel a lot better to me.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that'll yeah. And then Gabriel's like a POV character, and he ends up, in this last stand fight, and that's how you open up book 2, or what could become book 1 if because this is a tale of the Fromir. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. He can literally go in any direction, and I'm curious to see. I mean, there's a lot to play with.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
He said, "I expect there will be quite a few in the series. I'm working on book 2 currently."
Hell yeah.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
Because there's something I didn't fully understand that I want to see if you guys did. We had where's this at in the story? This is pretty close to the end, I think. I think this is right before they went after the vampire.
Mm-hmm.
They're at like the second spire thing. And it's like they show up and they're just thrust in this huge battle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I could not for the life of me figure out why they cared about the battle.
Yeah. No, I thought they weren't
really
going to be a part of the battle. I thought the whole point was that they weren't going to be in the battle.
Yeah. So that kind of threw me off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm all about an epic battle.
Trying to escape the entire time.
Say that
What was
again?
that, Alex?
What's that?
I thought their goal was to escape from the battle.
Yeah.
The battle was like the action's really well written. Like it was cool. It was fun. It was a fun ride. I was just like, what? Like, why don't we just leave?
Right.
Yeah, and there was that whole part about the Merovingian. They like he has this whole like bit of exposition that's like 2 paragraphs, where he mentions how the Merovingian just don't lose battles. And I was like, oh, well, I didn't know you guys wanted to be here anyways. Like, if they don't lose battles, you might not want to be there. You might not want to be there at all. You might want to be somewhere else. I don't know. That just, I think I guess if I were to pin it, there were times where the suspension of disbelief was at like a really, really high level. And then there were times where it wasn't. It like just got kind of just pulled out of it. And I think that comes to what you said, Chris, with the pacing and the, I don't know. I think overall, that battle scene was cool. I think it was cool to have an epic battle scene. I think the setup for it was, I was confused too.
Yeah.
Jake.
Okay.
Yeah. Me too.
There was that, and then the other thing that confused me was when Lyander like passes out at the end of his fight, and he's like, passed out, whatever. And then this whole book, his hand hasn't been bothering him.
Yeah.
Like he got this injury early on, and they tried to heal it. It didn't really work, whatever. So he passes out at the end of this fight, has a nightmare about being demoted by the church.
Yeah.
And then wakes up, hand is now magically healed. We don't talk about that really. And now he's also like enraged about being demoted by the church. And I'm like, there wasn't amnesia that we knew about. Like it's not like he just remembered what happened. So I was like, why are you just now you're mad? So like that,
Yeah.
there was a
that might
couple
be-
things. I was like, what? Unless
That
I
might
missed
be our vampire thing, dude. Because remember what happened when he survived the girl's attack? Is the cross saved him, right?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So it was because he held it in his hand, and then I don't remember, something exploded. I can't remember if it was a Geyer ice situation or what that messed his hand up. But the cross, I'm thinking there's something there that leads into a follow-on. There's just like there's a payoff that we haven't quite met yet.
Okay.
You know,
I mean, that would be. Hey, I will.
Very sweet.
Would love to be proven wrong that I just missed something. Like if I'm just
Right.
dumb and missed it, like that's amazing. I
no,
love that.
I'm only putting it together because we're talking about it, which is actually one
Right.
of the reasons why I'm happy we do this, because there are things that I tend to miss. I think that now that we're talking about it, like, oh yeah, I mean the narrative purpose. If I'm like going through and I'm looking at it, he messed his hand up in a fight with a vampire, right? When he
Mhm.
first meets the vampire. So there could be something there. And then it all of a sudden getting healed. But I know what you're, but referring to what you were saying, yeah, that felt kind of there's maybe just something. There were times where he trusted us and maybe we failed, like
Right.
he trusted us to put it together and we just failed, which is totally possible,
Right.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I agree with you. I didn't really get that part either. I kind of forgot about that though until you brought it up. I'm like, oh yeah, that was kind of weird.
There's like actually, I'm glancing back through my notes. There's so much that happened, even like when they went into like the Demon Realm library thing
Oh yeah,
to figure
Oh,
out.
that
yeah.
was pretty cool. I actually like that demon library. Like he writes like monsters and demons and stuff. Pretty spooky. He does a pretty good job describing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I like that scene,
Yeah.
but narratively, I was like, that's another one where I felt,
Oh yeah,
if he goes in and he finds out that he doesn't need to, like, Eluthienn is the only solution to
Right.
killing the
which
vampire
we
king,
kind of already knew.
which I felt like we were told.
Yeah. So you go through all that just to prove what you already kind of
Right.
were told.
Yeah.
And didn't
Yeah,
I think
there's
the
a way
church
to
already
structure
agreed
it.
to everything anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, I
There's
didn't
a
really
way to
get
structure
that.
it.
Seemed like, why are they going there? They didn't tell them they had to.
We need a like what's in your pockets is riddle scene. Maybe that's why that was there.
Yeah, I think if you take that scene and you put it before, you structure it so it makes sense, and you put it before what before we get told that he's the only person that can kill vampires,
Right.
and they're proving him. I don't know. Maybe it's just like confirming Eluthienn's honesty,
Yeah.
confirming that he is a genuine prince of some, for some reason. Maybe that would serve a narrative purpose.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, maybe again, I think there's a lot of the stuff I think that we're talking about is, I think he actually did trust us, and then we were like completely failed him.
That's totally
Oh
fair.
yeah. Be smart here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know it sounds like I'm being super negative and nitpicky, but like this was still a really fun.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to be clear for this, especially if
Yeah.
Sam watches this. I just
Yeah.
want to be clear. I still had a
Yeah.
great time.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
We're all
I
positive
liked-
on it.
I loved
We
being
think
in
Sam did
that.
great.
I actually thoroughly enjoyed being in the world, and like being in a sci-fi world with swords and shield walls, and maybe I should have mentioned that in the spoiler-free section, and vampires and all that stuff. I thought that was
The thing is,
really cool.
Demons.
I almost mentioned the vampires. I just didn't want to say it because I feel like that's supposed to be the reveal.
It was a fun surprise. I
Yeah,
didn't
it
expect
was.
that at all.
Yeah, that was
I mean,
nice.
it's pretty quick, I guess. But it is kind of a reveal. That's true.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that was fun.
I guess we are in the spoiler part now, though, so it's okay.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 20 minutes later, I think we're in the spoiler part.
Yeah.
After we just talked about the ending, I think we're in the spoiler part.
What did you
How
guys
about
think
post
of?
ending spoilers? Do you guys have any of those?
Any what?
I have a question for the panel.
Yeah.
Were you guys like me? So like early on, when Lyander's like he finds the girl's body, right, and the guy's going crazy, he kills him, whatever.
Yeah.
And he goes to, I don't know, is like the weird like a science lab thing underground. I can't remember the guy's name, but
Yeah.
who dies when the vampire sort of revives. But I thought that like that was the thing that I was just like, oh, this is cool. Like
Yeah.
it felt so unique, so
I
different.
agree. Yeah.
That was, and you're seeing how it's planting the seeds of like how important the past was. It kind of reminds me of not to spoil anything, I won't spoil anything in Malazan, but there's like a big theme of like that history is never dead. Like there's the past, is important still, and even like architecture and stuff like that, right? Like it comes back and it matters, and we're seeing that here too about like the stuff that these ancient people built, and now these current people are like using it for different stuff, and like they don't fully understand it. Like I thought that was super super cool, and that's the moment that made me buy in to the story initially.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think mine came earlier. Mine came when the vampire lady got dug from the ground. And then she gets.
That was cool.
Well, she comes back in the lab, right?
Yeah.
But I think once he figures out that she is, or did they figure that out before the lab? Maybe it is the lab that got me. That whole Lander sequence was the whole thing that got me. I was really like Brazier. His stuff. I was just like, okay, like I always tend to trust the author to like, okay, we're gonna have a tie-in at some point,
Right.
which we did, and I think that early on, Leander's obviously perspective was the one where I was most invested.
Yeah.
Whereas I think Brazier was like painting the picture of the world, if that makes sense. I don't know. He was doing the world building, I think.
Yeah.
That's interesting for me because so the clicking point for me came when I don't, this might be right, this might be wrong, but I think it was when Brazier they find Matthias or whatever his name is, Matt, like chained up, and like he's being constantly pumped with anesthesia, and I'm like, ooh, that's when I'm like really interested
That was
because
cool.
we have
Yeah.
mystery put in there, and I was hooked with that section specifically.
Yeah. I wanted to learn more about why he was imprisoned.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
so
right.
hopefully we get some more.
I was going to
Yeah.
ask. I was going to
We
say, hey, do you guys know why that happened?
Did we?
Yeah. I don't think it ever said.
Yeah, that was a
I
question.
thought it did
spawned.
because his. Oh wait, no, it didn't.
It gave us a general idea. It said he's wanted for high crimes,
Mhm.
or was imprisoned for like some high crime or something or
Right.
other. But he's like incredibly impressive because dwarfs don't have navigator skills like Matthias did.
Mhm.
And
Right.
I thought that stuff was cool,
Yeah.
and then that's why I wanted. He was a very enigmatic character. I wanted to know more about him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another cool thread for a storyline in a future book for sure.
Oh yeah.
I was constantly thinking like he was my favorite character throughout the entire book personally.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah.
Because I was
That's
very
good.
interested.
Yeah.
He wrote some cool characters.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. For sure.
Yeah.
There was some like really unique, like the communication. What was it? Epistolar? Is that what they called it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Communication stuff.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah, that
like,
was cool. Yeah.
Some of the mechanics of like the way that, like the fact that they had to phrase things a certain way was cool.
Way. Yeah.
But just it was repeated enough that I was like, okay, like I'm just gonna glance over this now.
Yeah.
But so that was a little hit and miss, a little bit rocky for me. But the idea itself was awesome.
Yeah, the technology was cool, but even the way it was written, sometimes it was like, I don't even know what this is.
I was like, what is happening? And it led to very real consequences at a certain point.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
Like it was, it became a big, which I think that's why
that was well done.
What I mentioned about the dwarf thing, and I was like, I want it to matter that he's a dwarf, not just that he's like this. Yeah. The way the communication system works, it mattered that it worked that way for the plot, right?
Yeah.
And for his part of Brazier's like arc also.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I thought that was fantastic. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was. He painted some good like imagery too, like that part when all the vampires are kind of taking over that station, not space station, but that's still what I pictured when he described it. But when he's like Brazier, I think it was him or Leander, one of them was like, oh, they think the cavalry's arrived. They see all these guys in like the soldier garb, and they're like, oh, good, that means there's more help. And then they turn, and they're all torn up and bloody and white faced, and it's like, ooh, that's creepy.
That was actually pretty gnarly. Like if you point out that stuff, it's like, wow, really was kind of sick.
Yeah.
Imagine how cool would have been if they like went up to the moon and they were like exploring the caves on the moons and mining there.
That would be
Be
pretty
cool.
sweet. Yeah,
That would have
Be
been
cool.
cool.
that is cool. Ryan Skeffington said something that I wanted to touch on. He said he liked what we're doing. He said that we should bring on the author. We thought about it, and I think we will maybe do that eventually with one of these. But this time we decided not to, just until we kind of knew how we all felt on it. Sometimes that's a little more tricky with I feel like indie books because you don't. I don't know. We decided not to do it yet, but it is something we might do down the road. And I am having him on Sam on Bees Friends Forever next month. So
that's
sick. I'm gonna tune into that for sure.
Yeah, I gotta watch that.
So that'll be good.
Yeah.
I think there is, and again, on reflection, you kind of are like, oh, like there is so much to really love about it, and I think if the story continues, and we get more, I think this is like kind of like that omnibus feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can put 1 and 2 together to make something that is truly like incredible, like beyond just how good the first book was. I don't know.
Yeah. I think so too, for sure.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about the writing style, prose, whatever? What do you think about that in general?
I liked it.
I thought it was good. I never felt like I was like hate reading it or like, oh, I gotta get through that. It always kept me like entertained and pulled in. Like I thought his writing style was good. It's not like it's not super flowery or anything, very accessible. Yeah. But I felt like it was good. I felt like he described things well. And anything we talked about that was kind of confusing, it was more either a pacing thing or him trusting us, like Chance said, and us just not getting it or whatever. So I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. I thought the prose was good and concise. My editor for my stuff like kind of jaded me to a lot of things just going back and looking at stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I don't really know what I can say or should say, but that said, that all said, he still did a really good job of putting the story together, and the prose was very clean. And with the exception of what I mentioned earlier with like that, but that could be just like a language thing for me. That's just, again, my fault. I liked it. I really did like it. I would say that the trust of the narrative and the story, this is kind of like one of those things where there were times you describe something, you say something, and then like when I'm going back and looking at stuff in my own writing, and this is why I probably shouldn't even comment on this, on my early drafts, I do a lot of writing and then describing he said in a certain way, and instead of showing what that looks like or that way. But that said, I think he does that enough that I was like, okay, like this is like perfect. It's like fine. It's like really good prose, really accessible. And there was like a trust thing that was given to us in the narrative that sometimes I was like, oh, like maybe in the prose I didn't need to know that. But,
right.
I thought overall it was very good.
Nice. Yeah, I agree. I think you guys said it. It was kind of a weird comparison. It was weird because I feel like it kind of both benefited and suffered from when I read it, because I was basically going back and forth between that and Curse of the Mistwraith. And so like in comparison, I was just like, man, I mean, this is, because Janie's prose is like the perfect prose to me.
And so unique.
That made it kind of like, but it was also so refreshing to be kind of lighter. And I was like, okay, I can just, I can get through this more easily.
Right.
And so like, it was also really nice when comparing it to that. So that was kind of a weird, it's hard for me to like know exactly what I think about it, because it's just so hard to not compare it in both of those ways.
Especially if you're reading side by side.
I think it suffered for me at the time I was reading it. I don't know why, but I think something just made me need a really intense read. And I'm like, prose, like I wanted something that was really going to work my mind, and Eluthienn was not cutting it for me. And so like towards the end, I was going insane, I need something that's more give me something that's more like intense. Give me something more complicated. And I just wasn't getting that from Eluthienn and was losing it because of it.
Yeah. Jake, I know you've read of Blood and Fire by Ryan Cahill. Have you gents read of Blood and Fire?
Mm-hmm.
Alex and Chris?
Yeah, I'm caught up.
Oh, you're
Except
caught up?
Nice.
All right. So of Blood and Fire, if you're to think about the pros of a Blood and Fire and think about the pros of Eluthienn, and again, maybe this is the wrong thing for me to do, but I actually think that Eluthienn did a lot of things better as a debut for me.
I'd agree.
Than a Blood and Fire. That said, like obviously Ryan, like he, his success speaks for himself. So I'm actually really excited to see what Sam comes out with next.
That's a good point.
For that reason, like because a Blood and Fire, like we got enough to hook us in and keep us going, and and things got better as it went. And I think if Eluthienn just like keeps building on that base, it can be really good with all of the aspects that were introduced. Like I think it might have that same impact. The difference is like when we came to the Bound of the Broken, like you have all these books already out for us to read. It's
right.
Yeah. So it's just a totally different experience. But yeah,
man, that's a really good point. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I thought you were done.
No, I am done. I'm done.
That's a great point about like I wonder sort of going back to what you said earlier too, and tying that together of if there was a sequel already out or something, like would we all have felt more at peace with some of the things that we felt kind of fell off? Right. Knowing that there's more, like, oh, okay, that's fine because maybe it's explored here or whatever.
Right. That's very true. Yeah.
I wonder if that's a thing. I could totally see that.
Yeah, that came to my mind.
Yeah. I want to very quickly say that Worry Don't is my new favorite person in the comments because they like my setup. So I appreciate you.
Author's E.B. Steele. I was going to say he loves the background, which we all do. That purple always looks so lovely.
Yeah, very sick.
Here we go.
I love it. Ted's got a good question for us. I guess we touched on both of these, but we didn't really say. What would you guys say, that it's plot driven or character driven? Kind of a hard. His characters were well written, but
I think both.
Yeah,
it's pretty balanced.
Yeah, pretty good balance. I think that the plot was introduced at points. I think innately this might actually make it plot driven, but I think because we enjoyed the characters, we would think that the characters were driving it. I think the aspects of the plot were interesting enough that I think it leans more plot driven. But I do think that the characters were done well enough that I could be if Sam were here or somebody else who read it and had a different opinion could totally convince me that it's character driven.
Yeah. My initial thought is plot driven only because there's times where they things happen or they go places where it feels like it's strictly like trying to make you go towards something with the plot, where it doesn't always forward like a character's growth or whatever. But I could see either way. Yeah. I think the world dictated. Well, I don't know, because the characters went to that battle when they didn't want to. I don't think the plot was driving them there. I don't think the characters were either. We don't know.
That was an interesting point. I think the biggest takeaway, if I were to look at this from a very which I think I should, is it positively. I think my experience was overall positive. I think. If I were like Eluthienn of Blood and Fire, if I were to just think about just pros in general, like author ability, at this point, that obviously Ryan skyrocketed. I enjoyed both enough that I would want to read the second book. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And not to compare, I mean, they're very different stories, right? But it's like Eluthienn is way more in-depth world building. Like it's a lot more ambitious on that front. So there's. It's also way more unique, for being honest.
I was just gonna say, very unique.
Like I love Bound and the Broken, but it's not reinventing the wheel.
You can pick out the things of, especially in a Blood and Fire. I'm guessing that.
I love Faithful and the Fallen and Wheel of Time also. But I mean that in the best way. Like it was fun to pick out those influences.
I was actually trying to find them for this book, and I couldn't. Maybe I just hadn't experienced them. Which is not a bad thing. I think it's either way.
That's true. It'd be interesting to hear him say what his inspirations were.
That's one you got to ask.
I definitely was getting Witcher. I was getting
As I
some
say,
Witcher.
Witcher definitely was I got. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that is cool to think.
We should recommend this to Vera.
Let's see what she thinks.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea.
Frying pan.
Let's see.
Witcher.
Keys wanted to know what we would give it for an overall rating. I know we don't always do.
I never rate books.
ratings.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't like to give overall. Like, I have my personal ones that I'll put on Goodreads to say I finished the book, and same with Storygraph. But really, I don't really like to give overall ratings other than it's 5 stars or it's not.
Right.
Yeah, I usually just punch that in on Kindle at the end.
Yeah, I'd say we all would say it was enjoyable, it's solid, and that we all would recommend it, right?
Yeah.
I think that'd be
for sure. Not perfect, but I thought it was really fun and a lot of really great things to love about it.
I think if you want to grow with a story and grow with an author, this is a perfect story to do that way.
Great place to jump on. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that.
Noise.
Agreed.
Yeah.
All right. So it's already been 55 minutes, guys. That's how quick time goes when we're together.
That is crazy. I think that is fun.
All right. So I'm thinking I'll have you guys do this 1-minute mystery. See how quick you can get it. Then we'll shift gears a little and talk about what we're going to read next, and then something else I want to ask you guys about. All right, so I'm going to serious. All right, let me make sure I haven't done any of these yet. All right. All right, so I've got 3 here. There's 3 of you. So again, we're going to do what I did earlier. I'm going to count to 3, and I want you guys to all hold up 1, 2, or 3. We'll see whichever you hold up the most. That'll be the card. All right, ready? Here's 1, 2, 3. Ready? Wait, okay. I'm going to start again. I'm going to say ready, set, go. Instead of 1, 2, 3. All right.
And on go, right?
On go. Ready, set, go.
Let's go. Perfect.
I'm like, I hope they all pick a different number.
That's awesome. That's cool.
All right, let's try it one more time. This time, pick a different number than you did. Let's see if you do it all again. All right, here we go. Ready, set, go. Go. All right, 2 it is. We'll do the middle one. And that's good. This is the one that I wanted you guys to pick.
That was like a mind game. I was like, all right, if I do the same number again, is Alice going to do the same number again?
I know. I was wondering what was going to happen.
I meant to Ellie, I'm going to do the same number again.
All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, so Chance, you've done this before, but so basically this card has 3 parts. There's the case, the mystery, and then there's clues that I can give you if you're not sure. And as you go down the clues, they get a little more helpful. All right?
Okay.
So here's the case. Several people learn that someone has been murdered. The people spend hours following the evidence and attempting to solve the crime. Finally, they identify and confront the suspected murderer, but they do not seek the murderer's arrest, and they don't even report the crime to the police. So here's the mystery. How do they identify the murderer, and why don't they report the crime?
Okay, what was the first? I need the first part again.
All right.
That's just my brain.
Several people. No, that's okay. Several people learn that someone has been murdered.
Okay.
They spend hours following the evidence and attempting to solve the crime. Finally, they do, but they don't seek the murderer's arrest or even report the crime to the police.
Okay.
So why is that, and what are they doing?
Murder. There's like a lot of play on word, huh?
So
although murder is pretty cut and dry.
Did you say they don't seek the murders?
Right. They don't seek the murderer's arrest.
Okay.
Well, it's apostrophe S.
Okay.
Not the murderer.
They're possessive arrest. Man.
I feel like the first clue might start to give you an idea. Do you want me to give you the first clue?
Run me through the first clue.
All right. The first clue is that the murder occurs in a mansion.
Oh. Is this
The second clue is that the murder weapon is also discovered.
It's a candlestick.
What's that?
The candlestick in the library.
Ooh, you're on to
Mr.
something.
Green.
Oh,
cool.
I think you all got it.
Use
Alex?
fingerprints to find the guy.
Oh, because they were playing Clue.
Yeah.
Ah,
Oh,
that's
nice,
fun. I like
dude.
that.
Let's
That's cool.
go.
Dude,
Yeah,
that's a great game. I used to play that a lot.
Oh yeah, I loved Clue back in the day.
Damn, that game is cool.
Yeah.
Chelsea,
The
we should
movie
get
was
Clue.
pretty funny too.
there was
You
a
ever watch
movie.
the movie? That was good. Good job, guys.
The movie was with it was the dude who was in
Tim Curry.
Rocky
Tim
Horror,
Curry.
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And the Three
Wait,
Musketeers.
Jim Carrey was in a movie about
No,
Clue?
not Jim Carrey. Tim Curry.
Not Jim Carrey.
This is,
You'd know
this
him
is
if you saw it.
before your time, Alex. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
The guy that he played it in the original, like the miniseries on TV too.
Yeah.
There was a
Before,
miniseries.
we're well,
I'm
I'm
not that old, bro. This isn't. Come
All
on.
right, that's before our time.
We got to remember that Alex is in high school, and I'm much older than you guys. So
Okay, though, to be
I'm
fair,
glad
I
you
don't
guys
even-
remember this.
Yeah. I remember.
Alex, have you ever played Clue?
Yes, of course I played Clue.
Good. I was worried.
Did you play the actual board game, or did you do like some weird iPad Kid version?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
Board game, smart ass.
A board game on his iPad.
Oh man. Well done, guys. Well done. All right. So are we going back to we're gonna go with wait, is this
Do
book
I pull
2?
it
Oh,
out?
we already got
Yeah,
it,
that's
huh?
book two.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm the only one who doesn't have it yet. All right. That's
Oh,
cool.
Well,
come on.
this is the broken
I gotta read
binding
this.
one came
I can't
together.
read next one.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll go back to that world and then we can do this again in April. Like every other month. We
So we're
usually
reading
do
it
that.
in March, right?
Yeah.
Right, because we were supposed to read Eluthienn in January, and I just happened to finish it yesterday. That's what it was.
I finished it a few days ago, so I wasn't much better than you.
Okay.
Don't
This will be more manageable because I can hop
Yes.
between audio and physically reading it.
And we could do later in April too. It doesn't have to be read by the end of March or anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works.
Cool. Yeah, I'm
All
excited,
right.
dude.
Fool's Hope, the second book in the Last War trilogy.
Nice.
And then I'm guessing we should probably just finish out the series.
Yeah,
Or
probably,
and hear me out. I know this is probably a bad time to bring it up, but do we want to start series together as a Red Company and then go into either finishing it on our own and having our like separate conversations, or do we want to use the Red Company to read standalones or firsts in series? Is that something we've thought about? Because as we go into this decision here to read book 2.
I have not thought about that much, to be honest.
Personally, I'd love to read the series with you guys.
Okay. So then there we go.
I think I'm up for whatever. Because it's like we're probably not going to read stuff that we don't like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
So
gonna be
like-
all something we wanted to read anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. Unless like
Yeah.
if one of us hates it and wants to nope out and we change the plan or whatever, like that's fine.
Yeah,
I feel
that's
like we
fine.
can call an audible and whatever.
Okay. Sweet.
That works for me.
Nice.
All right.
And then
Okay.
since we like hanging out so much, we had talked about on the off month trying to find a day where we could all get together and then just talk in general about what we all individually were reading, what we're gonna read, hang out, just kind of that stuff. You guys all still down for that?
Yes,
man.
absolutely.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right, then we'll do that sometime in March, and then it'll be either Chance or Alex's turn to host.
Yeah. I figured it out
We'll
now.
figure that out, but
You want to do it,
yeah, you
Chance?
can do lives now.
I can do it. Yeah, I figured out how to do it now. So you want me to host the first Red Company hangout, just chatting
Yeah.
and books?
Yeah.
All right, I'm in. I'm
Sounds
on
good.
board. I'm in. And then we have our Berserk chat coming. I'm finishing.
Yes.
I just started volume 19.
We got to get Andrew in on that one because he's super stoked
Yeah,
about.
Andrew and Britton
Berserk
are
now.
tagging on
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a big one.
It's
We'll
gonna
have
be a
to
fun one.
we'll have to have a moderator for the conversation.
We
I can be the moderator.
Just 7 people just talking to each other.
yeah,
Well, I guess
that's
you're
like,
gonna you're doing the Jake. You're
Moderate
doing
the
the
spoilers.
Janny read along, right?
Yeah.
yeah. I
That's
think
gonna
there's
be
What, Saturday, right?
how many
Saturday,
people are in
yeah,
that
2 Eastern.
conversation?
I think like 10 or something
lot.
crazy.
So we'll get
I
an
don't know how
idea
it's
of what
gonna
that
work.
looks like,
yeah,
Yes.
and then
We'll
we'll play
watch
off of that. Yeah.
I'm so stoked for that, dude. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
middle.
actually excited they
Yeah,
mentioned
becomes
that
chaos.
non-spoiler for a while, so that'll be good for me to hang out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right,
Sure.
heck yeah.
It's gonna be
Sweet.
a fun one.
Yeah, man.
That's gonna be awesome. I can't wait for it so I can watch it. I just love seeing people talk about Wars of Light and Shadow. So
Me too. Me too. I had to go back and watch like Philip and Joanna and Jimmy and
Oh.
AP and all those guys talking about it
yeah.
before, and it's just it's so nice. Even like going back and watching them talk about Hell's Chasm, and it's just, man, there's so much going on there.
Yeah, I'm 3 chapters into Hell's Chasm right now. I did not touch it since last week, but mostly because I think the same reason that you reading Curse of the Mistwraith by side of Eluthienn, I was like, I don't think I can enjoy Eluthienn if I keep reading it next
Right.
to Dried Hell's
Sure.
Chasm. It's just so. And again, Janny does some things so gracefully that I got so much shit for on my developmental edits that I was just like, all right, like I just can't do. I don't have that skill. Like she just has like an innate skill.
She's
to
a
do things.
master, dude.
Yeah, it's so cool to see. So cool to see.
Can we talk about this? You getting called Pierce Brown now?
Who?
can't wait for Chance.
Chris?
Brown.
I called you Chance Pierce Brown. Dillon.
You do actually look a little similar.
You
Yeah,
do.
he's got a mustache now. He's got a
That's true.
mustache now. You know, he's rocking a
I haven't
stash.
read Red Rising yet, so
Really?
Yeah.
You need to,
I didn't
man.
know that. Yeah.
Yeah, you should
hold
probably.
on.
Well,
Nice.
at least you now have until mid 26 to get caught up. So
Yeah,
You got
that's so
about a year.
wild. I'm like not rushing to read Dark Age as I was I'll read Dark Age by side of Disquiet Gods. I'm like, all right, I'll take a little time. I want to read it, but I'll probably do it in the middle of the year.
Okay, you got time.
Yeah, seeing him talk about it though is really
Nice.
cool, like where he wants to go with like spin-offs and stuff. Like I know that there's some people who don't like authors staying in their worlds, but I think every author is different. Like Michael R. Fletcher, I'm seeing how many worlds this guy creates. Rob J. Hayes, I'm seeing how many worlds these guys create. Like they are so good at that. And then there's people like I'm thinking about myself here, and then also I think Pierce Brown, I think Christopher Rocchio has been so good at creating and mastering their universe. That obviously Christopher Rocchio has had other ideas coming into Sword and Sorcery, but I think it's like very, I don't know, it's not like because they feel they need to. It's, they feel like this is the story I want to tell, and I'm going to tell it, and this is the world that it needs to be in. I like that stuff. I like it a lot. I envy people who can create worlds like that. Just like it's crazy.
That is wild.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Like Rob J. Hayes specifically is who I'm thinking of. Like he made the God Eater. Well, that was his magnum opus. Wasn't he saying that at some point?
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
That's cool.
Yeah, he's got a lot.
The epic, his like epic fantasy series, like because he has Grimdark, he has the Asian inspired military fantasy, he has the epic sci-fi fantasy. But I think this is like his. Yeah, I do think he's going into it treating it like it's his magnum opus.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. That's awesome.
Which is cool. It was crazy because he created all of that other stuff.
I mean, it's basically a trilogy, right? Like, unless he's counting everything as a collective rather than just the main books, I suppose.
I think he's talking about the collective.
Yeah, that would make sense then.
Yeah.
Cool.
Which is so sick.
Yeah. I'm stoked
That's
for the
another
next
one I got to get to.
Like the phase 2 stuff's going to be, I don't think it's going to be till 26, but
yeah.
I mean, he's writing 3 books.
We're supposed to get a standalone this year, I think.
Oh, okay.
Are we?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I remember he said it's going to be 18 months after the Kickstarter. So
okay.
After that's I guess it was just fulfilled.
I think we're getting it this year.
Oh wow.
In one of his newsletters lately, he said he's got a standalone coming out, so I'm excited for that. That'd be cool. That'd be fun.
That is cool. Be awesome.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right. So I guess we will sign off of this, and then we can chat for a minute before we all go our separate ways. But thank you, everybody in the chat, for being here. You guys were awesome. It was a great group. Thanks for hanging in there with us. We appreciate it. And if you take anything from this, just go read Eluthienn because it is worth reading. It was very good.
Yeah.
We all
It's
agree.
not super long.
No.
It won't take a ton of time.
Well written. All right.
Yeah.
So,
sequels come out.
yes. I'll see you guys in the next one, which is on Saturday. I'm going to be on with author Ryan and Patrick. So I'll see you guys in that one. Beast Friends Forever, Saturday night. And yeah, thanks for being here, guys. So until I see you in that one, as I always say, devour your TBRs, be brave, be beautiful to one another, and be beastly. We'll see everybody. Have a good
Thanks
night.
for having us, man.